Okay, so we're rounding third base on this build, and what I want to do first is finish the neck. So in this one, we're going to do fret leveling, crowning, and polishing, and I'll show you how I do the roundover on the frets so that they're just, the term buttery smooth, but it's true. And the reason I want to finish the neck first, before I go back to the body, I have to have the neck complete so that I can put it onto the body, sort of a dry fit, before I measure out the scale length and place the bridge. That's a critical piece, and I want the neck to be done prior. I could do it before polishing the frets, but when I drill the holes for the string ferrules for the neck through body type, I need to know exactly what the scale length is going to be. And the only way to do that is to have the neck finished with the nut installed, and then I can measure that out. My choice is going to be 25.5-inch scale length. So in order to show you how I do those the string ferrule installations, I want to have the neck finished first. So that's what we're going to do here. I may not get to the nut in this video. That's one of the final stages that I do, but we'll get close enough. This one's going to be all about fretboards. Other videos out there where guys do it, you know, different techniques, stellar results. This is just how I do mine, and I do it again with pretty basic tools, patience, and attention to detail. So I hope you enjoyed. This should be the last one that's dedicated to the neck.
So the first thing I want to do is make sure that this thing is perfectly level. So I have a leveling ruler with the notches cut out to clear the frets, and I need to modify the truss rod just a little bit. There's a little bit of daylight I can see at the 1st through 5th frets maybe, and then at the very end, the upper frets. So a little bit of a tweak. Now that the neck is shaped, it has a little bit different tension. We're good to go. Then I'll take my fret rocker, and if you don't know what a fret rocker is, Google it. It's just a machined flat piece of steel, and I'll go ahead and mark anywhere where I can rock back and forth, indicating a high fret. So it's pretty good actually. Work my way up this thing, and hopefully there's not too many. There's one right there. So you just flip it to different sides of the fret rocker as the frets get closer and closer. And the idea is if it rocks and clicks, you've got a high fret because it's clicking on the frets alongside of the adjacent frets. And is going a little bit longer than I thought. But once I have everything marked, I go ahead and look at it and see overall what the landscape looks like basically. So this has enough frets that are high. I think there's 4 of them in particular, and then one of them has a little bit of height on one side of it. So I'm going to go ahead and mark all the frets with a black permanent Sharpie, and we're just going to go do this whole thing. I'm not going to spot level specific frets. I'm just going to do a whole thing, which is pretty common for a new build. Now, I want to make sure that this neck stays flat and that I'm not putting pressure on it and causing it to bow or anything like that. Then I take a flat level. I have double-sided tape. I think I'm using 140 grit or something on this, and I'm not pressing down at all. I'm just letting the weight of the beam drag over the surface of the frets, being sensitive to the radius of the fretboard as well. I don't want to alter that. And then I remark the frets, drag the thing over it a few more times until all the Sharpie is gone, and then I'm going to go ahead and probably do the fret rocker again just to make sure that I'm on the right path. So then I want to, be mindful of the scratches, that kind of thing. And then this is what I call a fall away. I don't call it that. That's what it's called. I put a few layers of tape on here, 3 or 4 at the 12th fret, and then I just hit those last frets to make sure that it falls away a little bit on the upper frets. So the tape keeps me from grinding down the 12th fret, gives it a slight bit of angle, and I find that 4 pieces of tape is about high enough to give me the right fall away that I want. Then I take much finer sandpaper on a leveling beam, and I go over that, kind of take out some of the scratches. I'm not changing the radius of the frets at all. I'm just leveling them out, making sure that they're all the same, and I'm just taking out some of the heavier scratches here. I'm going to do a little bit more attention on the upper frets where I have the fall away. Make sure that those are the same attention as the rest of the fretboard. Now that the majority of that is done, I do clamp it down here. I'm not taking any material off of the frets. Not sure what I'm saying there, but it is fully supported. And I'm using much finer sandpaper here, really just to get the big scratches that the 140, 150 put into it. So I think I have 400 grit here, and I'm using the um, radius block so that I'm compatible with the radius on the fretboard. I don't want to change that. So I found this method to work really well. I do give a lot more attention to the front, the upper frets beyond the 12th fret, because that fall away, I've gotten burned before by having slightly higher frets up there, and I want to avoid that if at all possible. Quick vacuum. You want to get all that dust out of there. This fret dust can be kind of nasty. It's stainless steel. I always go with stainless steel frets. And then I'm just going to take the fret rocker over this one last time, mark anything that's standing out. I don't need to mark all of the frets, though I might, but I think I'm just identifying some of the high spots. But it's pretty darn good. I was really happy with just a couple of passes that I took on this, and then I removed the scratches, and there's still a couple of spots that are going to need some attention. I'm not going to put a Sharpie across all of the frets again, though I am going to go back to the leveling beam and just drag it gently across the surfaces of these things to make sure that the few spots that I've marked get knocked down. Like I said, this dust is nasty. It's metal, so I use D-Lead hand soap. I'm not being sponsored by these guys. It does a fantastic job. Then I'm just going to give these frets and the board a little wipe down with some mineral spirits. It evaporates quickly, or I'll use naphtha, but I think this time is mineral spirits. I'm going to tape up the fretboard. I have a technique that I use. We'll see how it works later. I go around it or up one side and down the other with uh, a piece of tape before I start taping the frets, the I guess horizontal or perpendicular. Taping of the frets. We'll see at the end. Hopefully, that strip, that yellow strip that I put at the bottom, at the base of the fretboard, will allow me to just pull the whole thing off in one swoop later. Um, Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Fingers are crossed. You never know. So it's time to crown these guys. I have a couple of different types of crowning files. You can find them on Amazon. You can get them at StewMac. They're very, very nice at StewMac. I just have Amazon or maybe I think I got some of these at Sweetwater Sound. I'm not sponsored by any of these people, of course. It's just where I go. So I'm going to go ahead and put a Sharpie across all of these and then go over the frets, paying close attention to the edges because I want to round things over. What am I pointing at here? I don't know. Um, okay, yeah. So I want to shave them down until I have a very, very thin line of Sharpie left. So they go from wide and flat from leveling them to a very thin line. And hopefully, it's a nice rounded kind of 45-degree angle on each side, um, sort of a rounded taper on the top. And you know that you got it just right when you have a very thin hair width or so wide line. If you don't do this, you'll have intonation problems because the frets are wider than they should be. And throughout the scale they have to be very precise. So I'll fast forward this a little bit. It's tedious. It's basically three different sections on each fret. You want each edge and then across the middle, and you want them really as close to perfect as possible, that thin line. And I might zoom up on here again to show you, but it came out really well. And that's the process. Another hand washing, good as new. Let's keep going. Little dented finger there. So you've seen me use these fret dressing files on a previous video. I already did one pass earlier I think it was like the third video. This is a very long, painstaking process. Wears your hands out. It's a exercise in dexterity. Make sure that you keep good posture. So we're gonna go and round the edges of each fret. And again, these are stainless steel frets, so it can be really hard on tools. I think it's worth it, but I'm gonna go through here and I'm gonna speed this up. And basically what you see is a slight round curve to each stroke of the file. And I maintain about a 45-degree angle. Nicked my finger there on one of the frets. They are sharp. So I'm glad I did that pass earlier. This is just sort of a follow up and just fine tuning. So it's up one side, down the other, up one side, down the other. I think I got 22 frets on this one. So that's 88 passes, both each side of um, each fret, left and right. So this is just the way it goes. So now I've got a variety of grits of sandpaper here, and I use, gosh, I think I start out with 320 and 400, 600, 800. Then I go through 1200, 2000, 3000, all the way up. You'll see these little sanding pads that I use. I think they go up to something insane like, 16,000 grit. And by that point, it's not even sandpaper, it's just different levels of polishing. So you'll see me go through each one of these, same thing. It's very repetitive. Each fret gets the same attention, and you don't want to leave one less than the other. You want to just really pay attention to detail here because this is the interface to the player, and you feel every little nick or scratch that you don't iron out at this point. So very important. If you're not in the mood to really settle in and pay attention to detail, come back some other time because you really have to put it into it. All right, so that is done. The final stage here, we're going to polish. Uh, it's worth it. Rotary tool. It's worth it to use a new wool or cotton um, applicator. I use Flitz polish, metal polish. I use that on firearms for polishing sears and various parts and whatnot. Some people use jeweler's polish. It's just try out what you like, and uh, you'll find what works for you. For stainless steel, I like this stuff. It cuts pretty good and does a really nice job. So hopefully, I'll get some good close-ups in a little bit and show you that. All right, we're gonna see how my tape job worked. Did that? No, it didn't. I'm gonna blame that cheap yellow tape. I mean, it's better than clawing each section off by hand, but yeah, sometimes it's just so gratifying. That's it. I think we're about done with this video. I'm gonna claw at the tape a little bit some more. It's always the yellow tape. Give it a quick mineral spirits bath again. You don't want that stuff getting into the maple or into the fretboard wood. I'm sorry, the neck wood. So I always try to keep things really clean, keep your hands clean, that kind of stuff. And let's take a look and see what how it turned out. All right, so that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. Get it out in the sunlight here. The video doesn't do it justice. I wish you could see how really shiny and polished these stainless steel frets are. The edges are nice and rounded, and I'm really happy with the way it's coming along. I appreciate everybody watching, sticking in throughout this video. Next up, we're going to do some more body work. So thank you again.